Hey, Psychic Frank here. Yeah, this is a little 15-minute show in between my San Francisco SF Commons 52-minute shows that are shown every Saturday night here in San Francisco at 7:30 p.m. Yeah, you don't have a shirt on. That's okay. Excuse me. It's a clean shirt. Yeah, so this is Psychic Frank's Mystery School. I want to read something from Norman Cousins, who wrote, he healed himself from cancer by laughing a long time ago, and now it's been proven that, yeah, that works. That's how it works. Um, Weapons technology not only enjoys survival priority over humans, it's also clothed in meaningful words. Meaningful splendor. Words like smart, brilliant, sophisticated are now attached to computerized electronic devices that can penetrate the most ingenious defenses and deliver their apocalyptic cargoes. Excuse me. And then he says the strongest argument in behalf of massive military spending is that the other side is spending at least as much or more. No one stops to inquire whether the other side may be spending its money wisely or whether indeed our own spending has anything to do with genuine safety. It is almost as though we can preserve our quote unquote manhood only by superior foolishness. Yeah, military intelligence. Those words just don't go together. This, thus, the greatest abnormality of all our time is the imitation of madness. I said that a lot. One of my friends, a brilliant psychiatrist, retired now, ran a home in Massachusetts, said most of his job was convincing people they're not crazy. No one stops to inquire whether the other side may be spending its money wisely or whether indeed our own spending has anything to do with genuine safety. It is almost as though we can preserve our manhood, quote unquote, only by superior foolishness. Thus, the greatest abnormality of all our time is the imitation of madness. Yeah, society has devised a phrase that stifles the moral indignation, paralyzes the rational intelligence, and produces unreasoning acquiescence. The phrase is, you ready for this one? Drum roll, please. National security. And under that, okay, I won't editorialize there. It is not necessary for those who invoke this magical phrase to demonstrate exactly how the national security will be served by any of the cataclysmic terrors that now inhabit the arsenals. All that is necessary is to point to the Russians. And in this world of mirror images, all that is necessary for the Russian is to point to the Americans. The madness is reciprocal, inexorable, inexorable, and inexcusable. By making sheer force the ultimate value, we have become its prisoner. By equating the national security with total power, we have become more insecure than ever before. By tying our freedom and historical values to the accumulation of cataclysmic explosive, we have ignored the need to develop the world institutions that alone can deal with basic problems of war and peace. By putting a large part of our national resources at the disposal of the military, we have made the weapons of industry the architect and arbiter of much of our foreign policy. Eisenhower said, keep an eye on the industrial military complex, and he was a general. We have, in fact, become a welfare state. Welfare, warfare. But the beneficiaries are not the poor and the disposed or the sick. The prime beneficiaries are the makers and sellers of the weapons. Those who, paraphrase President Eisenhower, are becoming a controlling factor in the society. So he says the conquest of war, therefore, must become our grand preoccupation and magnificent obsession. See or no? See or no? Capiche? And then Shirley MacLaine, my dear, I wish I know her. I feel like I know her. Back in the 80s, she wrote, she went to Peru and what she, because I said now, see, last year was all about Saturn conjunct Pluto. the yucky of the plutonian underworld, Donald J. Trump, the most despicable excuse for a human being, the portly parasite. We've been dewormed. This election we've been dewormed. So hallelujah. But what Shirley MacLaine said, and so as I said, this year it's all about Saturn squares Uranus. We're breaking 200 years of Earth, and we're totally into intellect now. I'm going to read. I won't have time now because this is a little 15-minute show. But I'm going to read something from a brilliant book by Al Gore, The Assault on Reason, and I reread that again. I can't put it down. I keep on reading it. It should be required reading. They should make a movie of that on network TV. It says, okay, so Shirley MacLaine says, so she knows, she's seen him. I haven't, but I know in Central America, Africa, my best friends, people I know from the Tibetan monastery, have told me like the activity in these places is mind-blowing. But somehow America, and she says right here, and this book was written in the 80s, she says she has traveled and loved to travel and privileged to do so. And she says, but probably the most prevalent these days are the sightings over Mexico. My friend, and then she goes on about unidentified flying crafts have been seen all over the world by every kind of person imaginable, but probably the most prevail these days are the sightings over Mexico. And then she goes on and on. Then she talks about Bill O'Reilly on Fox News did run a story on the Mexican phenomenon, but he basically ridiculed it. Lee thinks that Mexican people in the largest city in the world are open to the visitors because of their Catholic religion. They accept miracles and the sightings are considered miraculous. I asked my friend Mike Wallace and some others, this is Shirley MacLaine. Gabby, stop it, okay? I asked my friend Mike Wallace and some others why there is such a blackout. He didn't have an answer, but he doesn't believe they exist anyway. There has been no education on the journalistic world as to this reality, and so they ignore it. And then she goes on and on. The Pope visited Mexico, and then I'll skip through this. It's a wonderful book. It's called Shirley MacLaine, Saging While Aging. I love that, Saging While Aging. And then she goes, in the meantime, I started research. What credible people had gone public to say, if for no other reason than I wanted to set the record straight for my grandchildren? I like being an eccentric senior citizen who searched out new old truths with the time I had left, and I wasn't going to quit until I quit. Let me share some of these with you. And then there's this, hopefully, yeah, I got a good 10 minutes left. So here's one by Air Force Project Blue Book, the UFO Experience, 72. And the long-awaited solution to the UFO problem comes. When the long-awaited solution to the UFO problem comes, I believe that it will prove to be not merely the next step in the march of science, but a mighty, totally unexpected quantum leap. Whew! I can assure you that flying saucers, given that they exist, are not constructed by any power on Earth. Harry Truman said that in 1950. And in 1955, General Douglas MacArthur said, because of the development of science, all countries of the earth will have to unite to survive and make a common front against attack by people from other planets. The politics of the future will be cosmic interplay. That's so crazy because it's ultimate love, but he was a General MacArthur. But at least he acknowledges that they exist. I believe extraterrestrials are brilliant to have made it here, but also their senses, their abilities are much more developed than ours, and they know in America it's shoot first, ask questions later. So of course they're going to go to Mexico, where I'm not saying there's any crime in Mexico, but even the deadliest mobsters aren't going to mess with extraterrestrial there. You know, we have indeed been contacted. Oh yeah, this is Yeah, it says, we have indeed been contacted, perhaps even visited by extraterrestrial beings, and the U.S. government, in collusion with the other national powers on Earth, is determined to keep this information from the general public. That's the director, somebody. CIA. Oh, yeah, How the CIA Views the UFO Phenomenon. 79, that book was written. Yeah, then there's President Gerald Ford. I strongly recommend that there be a committee investigation of the UFO phenomenon. I think I owe it to the people to establish credibility regarding UFOs and to produce the greatest enlightenment on the subject. And this is first director of the CIA, 1947 and 1950. Now, this is key. Unknown subjects are operating under intelligent control. It is imperative that we learn where UFOs come from and what their purpose is. This is for the Roswell cover-up. More than 10,000 sightings have been reported, the majority of which cannot be accounted for by any scientific explanation. I am convinced that these objects do exist and that they are not manufactured by a nation on Earth. I can therefore see no alternative to accepting the theory that they come from some extraterrestrial place. Chief Marshal Lord Downing, Commander-in-Chief of the Royal Air Force there. I don't laugh at people anymore when they say they're seeing UFOs. I've seen one myself, President Jimmy Carter. The phenomenon reported is something real and not visionary or fictitious. General Nathan Twining, Chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff, 58-59, September 47. Okay, a number of thoughtful, intelligent, educated people in full possession of their faculties who have been seeing something and describing it grows every day. We can say categorically that mysterious objects have indeed appeared and continue appear in the sky that surrounds us. If intelligence of these UFOs creatures were scientifically superior to ours, they might choose to have little, if any, contact with us. Brookings Institute, report on extraterrestrial life, 1960. Mankind are here because they are offspring of parents who were first brought here from another planet, and powers are given to them to propagate their species, and they were commanded to multiply and replenish the earth. Brigham Young said that. Mormon granddaddy there. People unknown to our... Oh, yeah, Mitt Romney's a total UFOer. You know, he's also wanted to do with public PBS. I'd like to beat him to death for that. Just kidding. Just with a flower. Beat him with a flower and beat him every hour there. I mean, you know, I just don't like the Mormon thing. I like their underwear, I guess. I never wore it, but I would try it on. The subject UFOs... Oh, yeah, it says, in the distant future, we will encounter some other intelligent life. Frank Borman, astronaut. So anyway, that's where we are there, and we've got a few seconds left. I wanted to just read a sentence from the Constitution of the United States. I thought humorous. And it says, the Constitution of the United States of America, we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our prosperity, to ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Now, it doesn't say we the corporations. Worst mistake, and unless the Supreme Court rectifies it, we're screwed. We got to get rid of Citizens United, get money out of, get the, you know, the Citizens United thing was, you know, all about corporations are not people. You know, it's become, it literally is corporations of the people, America of the corporations, by the corporations, for the corporations, and people just, you know, it's just there's no words. I stutter with, you know, anxiety there, and tranquility. Our forefathers knew tranquility came from cannabis. You know, I've been on this planet 72 years. I've had moments of tranquility, mostly when I was out of the country. Okay, I love you guys. I'm going to sign off for now. Namaste. Gabby, yes, darling. I love you. Everybody loves you. I love you so much, everybody. I'm going to do a show. It'll be up for my SF people. Watch me on cable access TV. It might be my last. I don't think San Francisco SF Commons is thrilled with the fact I'm, oh yeah. I'll explain. I'll explain my next show. Namaste. Thank you so much. Ooh, that's a nice card to meditate on. The Magician. Ooh, beautiful. New beginnings this year, May. Bye.